Boruto 2 Blue Vortex shows the elders actively pursuing or trying to find somebody who's leaking information or getting information from an outside source. Somebody like Boruto or his accomplice outside of the Hidden Leaf Village. And they're basically trying to determine if they're working with the Shinju to take revenge against the Hidden Leaf Village. Now, while the elders are stupid, it's not like it's unprecedented for them to think outside the box here, or to think that somebody might want vengeance against the village. But when Boruto has taken abuse and beatings and has given as much information as he possibly can, and has let them all know that he is in no way, shape, or form an enemy, when he has saved one of the shinobis, when he has countless time and time again put his life at risk for the village and for the safety of the village, when Code first invaded the village, pursuing the Shinjus, helping Konohamaru in the mission against the Shinjus, every single time Boruto has laid down his life for the village, he has been treated with disrespect. Now, what is it that'll take the elders to actually be like, oh, we were wrong, he's a hero all along? Now, do I think this is actually going to happen in the manga? Absolutely not. There's no chance of that. And it creates pretty good tension between Shikamaru and the elders, and it makes them a force that Boruto yet again has to prove himself to. Even though he's kind of proven himself to Mitsuki, Sarada, Sumire, Kashin Koji, Shikamaru, Konohamaru, like basically almost all of the main characters that we know in the story, but we still need to get there. Now, in this hypothetical situation where the elders are convinced of it, the only way that I can see them being convinced is if Boruto were to, one, supply fake information. And by fake information, I mean a fake informant or something that'll be credible to the elders, that he's gaining some sort of information about the Shinjus. The second would be actual threat and force against the elders, right? So something that would actively hunt down or try to hurt the village, and then Boruto would have to follow their orders or destroy the said thing that's attacking the village. And then the third thing, I think, is that Boruto would have to, quote-unquote, give the elders a kind of sneak peek into all of those things. So they would have to recognize the Shinju's, like the information that he gets on the Shinjus. Now, it doesn't have to be Kashin Koji. He doesn't have to give that up. He also doesn't have to reveal prescience, but he just has to make up some mumbo-jumbo about, like, this is how I'm able to learn about them and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines. And the elders, I think, will eat it up. I think it's a lot easier to lie to them and make them believe another story rather than let them walk and run with their own story. You know what I'm saying? So that's the best way I feel like the elders could be or would be on board with Boruto kind of being back in the village, or not, like, you know, them snapping out of it and going like, oh my goodness, what were we thinking? He's a hero, you know what I'm saying? And so, one, he'd have to show them proof, or he'd have to tell them like where he gets his information from. Two, he'd have to fight against a threat and force in the village, or against the elders, specifically them. And then thirdly, we'd have to watch him show it to them or prove it to them, you know, actual physical proof to get them to believe him and stuff. So outside of that, yeah, there's no chance in the manga that we're going to see them be like, Boruto is right, you know, until the last second, you know what I mean? But, or until they die, which is also you know, that's an option, but something tells me they're gonna live to tell the tale. So we'll have to wait and see. But until then, until chapter 27, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah,